Have you ever lost control of your emotions over something small only to regret it later? Have you noticed that the more you suppress your emotions, the more likely they are to explode at the worst possible moment? In daily life, we all experience emotions like anger, anxiety, and sadness. But what truly affects us isn't the emotions themselves, it's how we deal with them. In this video, we'll explore how to better manage our emotions so they become a source of strength rather than a burden. If you want to quickly break free from negative emotions and take control, instead of letting them control you, then this is the video for you. Nietzsche once said in Beyond Good and Evil, "If emotions are constantly out of control, we become slaves to our feelings and lose our freedom." When we are swept away by our emotions, we become like wild horses without reins, losing our rationality and self-control, driven by impulse and instinct. In such moments, anger, anxiety, or sadness can take over, pushing us to act in ways we may later regret. True freedom is not about doing whatever we want, but about staying steady in the storm of emotions and allowing reason to steer the ship. Emotions are a natural part of being human, our brain's automatic response to external stimuli. Anger, joy, fear, sadness. These signals help us navigate the world and make decisions. However, if left unchecked, emotions can take control, clouding our judgment and putting us in a reactive state. Managing emotions doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring them. It means learning how to coexist with them, becoming their master, not their slave. Social psychologist Leon Festinger introduced a well-known concept called the Festinger Principle, which states that 10% of life is determined by what happens to us, while the remaining 90% is shaped by how we react to it. This idea reveals a profound truth. What truly impacts our emotions is not the events themselves, but how we interpret and respond to them. Take a sudden rainstorm, for example. One person may see it as an inconvenience, complaining about the bad weather and feeling down. Another person, however, might welcome the rain, enjoying the fresh air and the rare moment of peace. The same event, two completely different experiences, because our emotions are shaped not by the external world, but by our internal mindset. So, how can we rein in this wild horse of emotions and regain control over our own reactions? How do we become the master of our emotions rather than being controlled by them? Breaking the cycle and taking control of your mind. Emotions are one of the most genuine aspects of human experience. They accumulate over time, and they can also transfer from one situation to another. Understanding this helps us become more aware of our feelings and prevents us from being completely controlled by them. Have you ever found yourself overreacting to something seemingly small? Maybe someone made an offhand comment or forgot to acknowledge you, and suddenly you felt deeply hurt or outraged. Others might see it as an overreaction, and even you might wonder, why am I so angry about this? The truth is, your intense reaction isn't just about that single moment. It's the result of accumulated emotions finally finding an outlet. Imagine emotions as a reservoir, filling up with daily frustrations, suppressed stress, and unexpressed disappointments. Over time, the pressure builds until, one day, something seemingly minor, like a joke from a friend or a forgotten anniversary, becomes the trigger that unleashes the flood. So the next time you feel deeply upset about something small, ask yourself, am I truly angry about this moment? Or is this just the tipping point for all my unspoken frustrations? By recognizing this emotional buildup, you can break the cycle of unconscious reactions and begin to take back control over your inner world. Why do we take out our frustrations on innocent people? Emotions don't just build up, they also transfer unconsciously. Imagine this. On a good day, your child accidentally spills a glass of water, and you respond with patience. It's okay, just be more careful next time. But on a stressful day, after dealing with a frustrating boss, endless traffic, or an exhausting workload, that same small accident suddenly triggers an outburst. Why are you so careless? The truth is, the child didn't do anything worse than before. What changed was your emotional state. The frustration, stress, and exhaustion you accumulated throughout the day had nowhere to go until it found an easy target. This emotional displacement happens all the time, and unfortunately, it often affects those closest to us. Since we can't yell at our boss, we take it out on our partner. Since we can't change a frustrating situation, we snap at our kids or friends. Next time you feel an overwhelming emotional reaction toward someone, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I truly angry at this person, or am I just using them as an emotional outlet? The key to emotional control is awareness. When you feel anger, frustration, or anxiety creeping in, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, take a moment to pause and remind yourself, this isn't just about this moment. This is the accumulation of many emotions seeking expression. This isn't really about the other person. It's my emotions looking for an outlet. The moment you recognize this, you gain the ability to step outside the emotional spiral instead of being dragged deeper into it. Emotional awareness and shifting your perspective are the first steps toward true psychological freedom. When you stop letting emotions dictate your actions, you reclaim control over your mind, and with it, a calmer, more balanced life. Recognizing emotions. The power of awareness. When emotions go unnoticed, they control you. But the moment you acknowledge them, they become your messenger. More often than not, it's not the emotions themselves that torment us. It's our lack of awareness that allows them to spiral out of control. Learning to see our emotions as they arise is the first step toward self-mastery. When anger surges, tell yourself, I am feeling angry. When anxiety creeps in, remind yourself, I am feeling anxious. When sadness washes over you, acknowledge it. I am feeling sad. Simply recognizing the emotion without judging, resisting, or rushing to suppress it can already diminish its power. Think of it like watching a storm cloud pass by. You don't have to fight it. You simply observe and allow it to move through. At first, this practice may be difficult. You might only realize your emotions after you've already reacted, after snapping at someone, after breaking down in tears. That's okay. Awareness is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. But the moment you can recognize an emotion as it rises, you've already won half the battle. Did you know that human rage only lasts 12 seconds? Psychological research shows that the peak of anger only lasts around 12 seconds. That's right. Your initial emotional outburst is incredibly brief. If you can ride out those 12 seconds, you'll regain your rational thinking and avoid making impulsive decisions that you might regret later. However, the problem is that most people react within those 12 seconds, saying things they don't mean, acting out of frustration, and escalating conflicts unnecessarily. The key? Pause. Breathe. Wait. If you can give yourself even a few seconds before responding, you create a crucial gap between emotion and action. A gap where reason can step in and help you choose a better response. 3. Accept your emotions and release them in a healthy way. Let emotions flow. Don't suppress them. Emotions themselves don't harm us, but bottled up or poorly expressed emotions do. Many people habitually suppress their negative feelings, convincing themselves to stay rational and strong. They might even force themselves to believe they shouldn't feel a certain way. But the truth is, emotions that are ignored don't simply disappear. Instead, they accumulate inside us, manifesting as chronic stress, anxiety, depression, or even physical symptoms like headaches, digestive issues, and insomnia. Worse, if left unchecked, these unprocessed emotions may explode in unexpected, regrettable ways later on. The key to emotional well-being is not to suppress emotions, but to accept and release them in a healthy way. Recognizing your feelings, giving yourself permission to experience them, and finding constructive ways to process them is essential to mental and emotional balance. Remind yourself, losing your temper won't solve the problem. When anger takes over, our instinctive reaction is often to make sure the other person feels our frustration, as if being loud or aggressive will magically fix the issue. But the truth is, anger rarely leads to real solutions. Instead, it usually makes things more complicated, damaging relationships, and creating even more stress. In those heated moments, pause and remind yourself, no matter how angry I get, the problem will still be there. And losing my temper will only make things worse for me in the long run. Instead of letting anger control your actions, take a deep breath, step back, and choose a response that will actually help you move forward. Use your breath to regain clarity. When emotions run high, your breath can be a powerful tool to bring you back to a state of calm and control. Try this simple breathing exercise to reset your mind. Take a deep breath. Fill your lungs completely, feeling the air expand inside you. Hold for 3 seconds. Let yourself become fully aware of the present moment. Exhale slowly. Imagine your anger leaving your body with each breath out. Repeat this 10 times, and you'll be surprised at how much lighter you feel. By shifting your focus to your breath, you shift your mind away from reactive emotions and back to a place of balance. Shout it out. Release your emotions through your voice. Sometimes, the best way to release pent-up frustration is to let it out loudly. Find a place where you can be alone, an open field, a mountaintop, the beach, or even your car, and shout out your anger, frustration, and stress as loudly as you need to. Many people hesitate to try this, feeling self-conscious or silly. But the truth is, your voice is a powerful, emotional release tool. When you vocalize your feelings, you're not just expressing them, you're physically releasing stored tension from your body. After letting it all out, you'll likely feel lighter, calmer, and more in control. So don't hold back. Give yourself permission to scream and let the stress fade away with the echo. Release emotions through physical actions. When emotions build up inside, they need an outlet. Instead of suppressing them, find a way to physically release that tension in a safe and healthy way. Let it out in your own space. Lock yourself in a room and shout into a pillow. Punch your bed, or throw a pillow across the room. These actions won't hurt anyone, but they can help discharge the pent-up energy inside you. Write it all down. Grab a piece of paper and write out everything. Your frustrations, your anger, your disappointments. Don't filter yourself. Just let it flow. Once you're done, rip up the paper, crumble it, or throw it away as a symbolic way of letting go. Step away from the emotional trigger. When emotions start to escalate, one of the most effective ways to regain control is to physically remove yourself from the situation. If possible, step away immediately. Go to the restroom. Step onto a balcony for fresh air. Or simply stand up and move around. Creating physical distance from the source of frustration helps break the emotional momentum and allows you to reset. If you can't leave the scene, try this instead. Close your eyes and visualize a peaceful place, a quiet beach, a serene forest, or anywhere that brings you comfort. Imagine the sights, sounds, and sensations of this place, letting your mind transport you away from the conflict. Your brain can't fully distinguish between real and imagined experiences, so this mental escape tricks your mind into feeling calmer, reducing the emotional intensity and helping you regain control. Move your body to let emotions fade naturally. Physical movement is one of the most effective ways to release built-up stress and emotions. When you feel overwhelmed, try high-energy exercises. Go for a quick run, jump rope, punch a sandbag, or even just jump up and down. These intense movements help your body release tension and reset your nervous system. Gentle activities for calmness. If you prefer a slower approach, try yoga, stretching, or deep breathing exercises. Focusing on your breath and body movements naturally lowers stress hormones and helps emotions settle. Whether it's an explosive workout or a calming stretch, movement allows your body to process emotions physically, helping you clear your mind and regain balance. When we're overwhelmed by strong negative emotions, it's easy to lash out at those around us, saying things we don't truly mean, using harsh words that can hurt deeply. But while negative emotions are temporary, the impact of hurtful words can last far longer. That's why one of the most important principles in emotional management is never engage in conflict when your emotions are at their peak. Instead of immediately reacting, acknowledge and accept your emotions. Don't fight them. Simply recognize that they are present. The moment you stop resisting your feelings, their intensity begins to fade. By giving yourself space before speaking or acting, you prevent impulsive words from causing damage and allow your rational mind to take back control. 4. Positive communication. Once our emotions have settled, we can finally enter a space for rational and effective communication. This is where we need to practice positive expression, a way of communicating that is constructive rather than accusatory. When emotions are out of control, many people tend to express their frustration through blame, complaints, or even attacks, such as, You always do this. You never consider my feelings. I'm always the one cleaning up your mess. You never take responsibility. Statements like these trigger defensiveness in the other person, escalating the conflict and making real communication impossible. Instead, if we shift our approach, expressing our needs with understanding and kindness, we not only make it easier for the other person to listen, but we also create a real chance to resolve the issue effectively. Communication is about understanding, not winning. The goal of communication is not to win an argument, but to understand each other. Sometimes the most powerful way to express yourself is not through words, but through genuine listening and thoughtful responses. Before expressing dissatisfaction, pause and try to see things from the other person's perspective. Even the best words, if spoken with a tone of blame, will likely be rejected. Tone matters more than content. When someone is emotionally charged, resist the urge to argue back. Instead, first express understanding. I see that this is really frustrating for you. I understand why you feel that way. Once the other person feels heard, they will naturally lower their defenses and become more open to finding a solution together. When we learn to manage our emotions and express our needs with kindness and patience, our relationships will naturally become more harmonious. Emotions don't last forever. The key is to acknowledge, understand, release, and adjust. Emotional management doesn't mean suppressing emotions or becoming emotionless. Instead, it's about learning how to live with them peacefully and use them as a source of growth and strength. I hope this video has helped you better understand and master your emotions, reduce impulsive reactions, and cultivate a more rational, balanced, and fulfilling life.